Biologists say there are 5,400 animal species able to create complex, intentional, repeatable, musical vocalization. In other words, there are about 5,400 species who sing. The majority live in the trees and fly through the air. A few live in the oceans, and some make their home underground. We, of course, join the ones who live upon the earth. Still, one of the things that makes us distinctive is our ability to sustain a shared sense of rhythm. It's the thing that allows us to sing together. Two birds can sing the same song, but they cannot sing it together. What's more, when a room full of people sing at the same time, they also start to breathe at the same time, too. Our inhaling and exhaling synchronize. A few years ago, a group of Swedish neuroscientists discovered the same thing happens with our heartbeats. When we sing together, our pulses join and match. Pulse rates tend to increase and decrease in unison too, with the beat of the music. Singing, it turns out, is a wonderfully collaborative process. Our hearts come to beat together. We learn to breathe as one. All God's critters have a place in the choir. When we sing, we take our place in the melody and harmony of God's creation, in God's joyous creativity and composition. We join one another. We add our voices to each other in one chorus of praise. Our ancestors in faith knew the power of that. It's the reason the book of Psalms, our first songbook, is the biggest book in the Bible. And yet, there was a time when the church forgot how important it is for us to sing together. In the medieval church, singing in worship was reserved for just a few people. The priest who chanted the liturgy in Latin, a language no one in the congregation spoke and very few people understood, and the choir, which consisted only of monks and priests who sat and sang behind a screen. The congregation simply listened. Fortunately, when the Protestant reformers came along, they recognized that a shared faith, a community of faith, a living faith, is a faith that has to sing. Luther and Calvin and Zwingli rescued the practice of congregational singing as an essential witness of our faith, our hope, our courage, and our joy. A few years later, the Wesley brothers made singing a core practice of the faith tradition they called Methodism. Charles himself wrote over 6,500 hymns, and at an average of 2 per week, week in and week out, through his 50-year life in faith. He spent a lot of time on horseback composing the poetry for these hymns and creating tunes as he went from place to place. All of which seems to be what this day is about. Today is an expression of the truly great lengths we will go to in order to keep on singing our faith. The members of our choirs show us how it's done. Impossible as it is to sing on Zoom, they persevered. Kaisa and Jessica made recordings of the piano accompaniments and of all the vocal parts so that folks could listen and sing along at home. And there, all alone, choir members bravely picked out pitches and humbly recorded themselves over and over again on cell phones and computers, trying to get things right. When finally they met together, they started out on the plaza, soaked in sunscreen and baking in the hot sun as they rehearsed. Moving indoors, singers gamely gasped for air and exaggerated their consonants to overcome the muffling made by those masks. And all along, digital masters in our midst spent hours and hours carefully layering the voices in the sanctuary with voice recordings sent in from members' homes, setting them track upon track, syncing them electronically, and balancing all the volumes and tones to bring it all together. It's been a lot. Why on earth would we do such a thing? Because nothing can keep us from singing. Did you know that when danger approaches, other species stop singing and become silent? But human beings, we get louder the closer the danger gets. We do not back down. We do not give up. And when we sing together, we become larger. My soul magnifies the Lord, Mary sings, as her pregnant body expands and her voice swells in a song that brings the mighty down and lifts the lowly up. Someone once asked Sojourner Truth, the great abolitionist, how to destroy the evil of slavery. And she replied, "You lay a song on it." So come, fear, and see the everlasting light shine from a little town in Bethlehem. Come upon a midnight clear, we will rest beside the weary road to hear the angels sing. Come, war and conflict, for tonight is your silent night, when all is calm and all is bright. Come, bleak midwinter, and we will kneel to offer a holy child all that we have in our hearts. Come, adversity, and we will defiantly proclaim the wonders of God's love. We will repeat the sounding joy, joy to the world. Come now, O Prince of Peace, and make us one body. Reconcile, O people. O come, all ye faithful, and together we will sing.